Good evening, folks. And tonight we're going to talk about what the term fixed bayonets means. Now, if you're in the military, you know what that means. I didn't serve in the military, but I have a lot of friends who have served in the military, and they literally have told me a lot about what their experiences were and how they dealt with it, and if they ever been in battle, what it was like. I know I'm young. I've had friends who served in Vietnam. I've had friends who served in Iraq. I've had friends who served in the first Persian Gulf War. I've had friends who served in, some deceased friends who once served in World War II. They're no longer with us, so I've had friends literally in every single war that are deceased and alive. But here's how that term fixed bayonets came around. Okay? During hundreds of years, during the 80 Years' War and other wars between them, you had pikes. They're like long sticks with sharp knives at the end. They weren't necessarily fixed at the end, but they were like long knife sticks. And then they would stick out very long, and when they come running at you, like it would pierce horses. There would also be like pierces, and that'd be like your bayonet back in those days. It wasn't until 1688. Well, before that, in like the 1650s, shortly after the 80 Years' War, where they actually created something like the bayonet, the Chinese did, where you put it at the end of the gun, where you put it in the gun barrel, where it would stick inside the gun, where it was nearly impossible to shoot. All they ever did was, it would be like a plug bayonet. They didn't even call it the bayonet. I'd have to look at what they did. They would go over there and they would stab them. They'd be more like a spear instead of a gun. They'd put it at the end of the gun and they would stab them with the gun like a spear. Still used like a bayonet charge, but instead of a bayonet charge, it'd be a spear charge, and they would stab them. That'd be like the bayonet charge, but in 1688, the French created a gun that you would fix a bayonet at the end, connected, kind of like a zigzag formation, and it would be strapped on. And you'd be able to pour your gunpowder in and fix it like you're pulling out like during the Revolutionary War time period. Then you would pin him up and shoot at your opponent. Perfect way to fix bayonets. And they fixed bayonets just like that, and game over. The rest is done. Then later on, further down during like the French and Indian War, and other countries started picking up on the idea and did their own way of fixing bayonets. And the French kind of caught on that. And all they had to do was just put it at the end, making it sure it made the click sound. And same went with World War I, the Revolutionary War, where they would take the bayonet and stick it at the end. It would make not necessarily a click sound, but it would make a sound where it would make sure it was stuck on. But the Vietnam, they even did it in Vietnam. They fixed bayonets. The Spanish-American War, they also fixed bayonets. They had bayonet charges. There's a lot of places where they did a bayonet charge, and trust me, it got real when you did that. Anytime if you're in the military and you hear the word, and you hear your commanding officer say, fix bayonets, you know it's about to get real. Just trust me. It's all about to get real when you hear the word fix bayonets. Well, there's your lesson on fixed bayonets. And we might do something else that has to do with bayonets when it comes to like how the French won certain battles during certain wars. And we'll talk about that later on. With that being said, I'm out of here. Hit the like button, hit the bell for notifications. With that being said, I'm out of here. Peace.